Hello and welcome to the International Opportunities Podcast. This series will give you an insight into our students' first-hand experiences abroad, whether that be a study exchange or work placement. From Fiji to Canada, our students have done amazing things abroad and we want to showcase that to you all. If you're thinking about going abroad for your studies or for work, then this series will hopefully give you some inspiration, tips and advice. I'm your host, Laeticia Sevin, and today I am here with a very good friend of mine, Lucy Ryan, who is a second-year theatre and performance student at Salford University. Hi, Lucy.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining me. So now, you're going away next week for a summer school programme. Can you tell us a bit more about the programme and what this will entail?
Yes, so I'm going to a global summer school in Canada, so at Humber College, and I'm going to be doing a beginner's podcasting course. So it's a 3-week course, and I've got an extra week doing a research boot camp as well. So the first week will be solid research, and then 3 weeks of actually learning how to become a podcaster.
Wow, that sounds great. Now, first off, let's talk about your course at Salford. So what made you decide to take a theatre and performance course?
So I've always loved drama, whether it's watching things, being in things since I was young, and I'm much more of like a vocational practical learner. So I probably looked at every university online in the UK at all their different courses, and I finally came across Salford. And one, location-wise, it's amazing because you're right near Media City, where you've got fantastic opportunities like the BBC and ITV. Yeah. But also, it's a really practical course, so a lot of it's on your feet. And they have options, which is like my favourite bit, because we get to kind of specialise or pick and choose what we want to do. Yeah. So not everywhere has that. So for example, last year I got to do a radio performance and production module, which I think I would have struggled to find at many other places. So yeah, it's amazing.
It's great that you've got so many different options for your modules as well. You can really expand.
Definitely.
What would you say was your motivation for you to apply for an exchange programme?
So again, that was one of the reasons I chose Salford, was the great international opportunities, because again, that's not something you get offered at every single university. Yeah. And I've always wanted to do it. I've always fancied going to Canada. And then when the International Opportunities team told me about this global summer school, I was like, yep, sign me up. I'm definitely going, because I just think, when do you get that opportunity in your life to go abroad for like a month and have some of it funded as well? So, and get to learn a new skill in another country.
Exactly. And how did you find out about the programme? Did you reach out to the international team to ask about it? Or?
Yes. So, I think the poor International Opportunities team have known about me before I started at Salford, because that was one of the things I wanted to check. So I've always kind of kept in touch. And then, it was one of the team members in the International Opportunities who said, we've actually got this. This might be something you'd be interested in. I was like, yes, this sounds amazing.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the summer school and what this is going to entail?
So I will get there. So I'm going to fly on Friday, and then we'll land and we will be in student accommodation. So I'm on Lakeshore campus. So I'm next to a lake, Lake Ontario, near Toronto. And I'll be sharing a flat with one other person. And then I think there's about 200 of us attending from all across the world. So then we'll get to do things like a tour of the campus, get to meet everyone. And then people will be doing different courses. So not everyone's doing the podcasting, but we're going to do like day trips or meet up in the evening. So we'll get to know each other, which will be really fun. So the first week is going to be kind of full-time, 9 to 5, doing research, which should be related to the podcast. And then the next 3 weeks, there'll be morning classes, learning about how to make and produce the podcast. And then I would imagine I'll have a bit of work to do on top of that. And then obviously the rest of the time I can spend getting to know people at the summer school.
Yay, and the Lakeshore campus is beautiful. I've been to a few of the different campuses, but the Lakeshore one is absolutely gorgeous. There's a really lovely trail. You can see the whole of the sky, like the city skyline from the Lakeshore campus. It is gorgeous. Just beware of the coyotes.
Thank you. Yeah, that's useful to know. When I was looking, I was like, what? To be fair, Canada's not that risky, but I was like, oh yeah, wildlife, I will. Yeah, keep my eye out.
I didn't expect there to be coyotes on the uni campus. I actually saw one walking just past the uni campus,
No way. Oh my goodness.
So will you be staying in the uni accommodation then?
Yes, so it's like the halls of residence. So I think we'll both have our own rooms, and then we share a bathroom and a kitchenette. Yeah. And then they actually provide 1 to 2 meals a day. It's all included in the programme fee. So it'll only really, I guess, be like dinner or lunch sometimes that we'll need to provide for ourselves, and obviously like weekends as well if we're out and about. So that's quite nice as well, because obviously I won't know. Obviously, I think everyone, from what you've said about Canadians and the Canadians I've met, everyone's really friendly and lovely, and I know they'll look after us, but it's just kind of reassuring to know at least the first morning I'm not going to be trying to find a shop so I can like get some milk and have some cereal. So.
Yeah, they've got everything on the campus there. It's brilliant.
Oh, amazing.
So how did you find the process of applying for the summer school? Was there a lot of admin involved?
Yeah, there's been a bit, but there's a few forms you fill in, but they're quite kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And a lot of the information you have is just in one form, and it's all online as well. So I found even one of them, when I was waiting just to get a document to add to it, it kind of like saved my responses, which was quite good. So yeah, it's just been really good kind of going through you do like a stage 1, and then once you've been enrolled and accepted onto the course, you go on to like stage 2, so as long as you get that done. So now I'm just this week in the process of making sure I've got, just double printed everything, like my visa document and things like that, and making sure, the passport and everything in my bag, ready to go. So so there's a bit of that, like the general kind of going abroad, packing, admin stuff that can't really happen till the week you go anyway.
Yeah. Always lastminute.com.
Yeah.
So how have you been preparing for the summer school, academically and personally?
So I've been, I guess, academically, I'd already chosen to do it anyway, the radio performance and production module, but that kind of sparked my interest more because obviously theatre and performance, it's a bit less of the production side usually. So that bit did scare me a bit. But having actually completed a radio module and managing to actually produce a radio play, I was like, oh, I could actually do this. So I've been I listen to podcasts anyway, but I've been listening a bit more kind of actively and thinking about how they structure them. And I've been thinking about different kind of ideas and researching around what's already out there and what I'm interested in as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah.
And today doing a podcast as well, just prepping you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what are you most looking forward to in the programme?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think I'm really looking forward to meeting people from all around the world.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to be really, that's such a good opportunity. You don't normally get people, all in one place as well. But I'm also obviously looking forward to completing the course, because I'm hoping, if I know what I'm doing, I can kind of shoehorn it into a module in my final year at uni possibly, and actually start my own podcast, which would be great.
Do you have any ideas about what you want your podcast to be about?
Yeah, so I've got a few ideas. I've actually done a little bit of funding for Canada, and some of the money is going to go towards, I'm involved with a sports team who go to sport events, and they I've previously spoken about this. I do something called the Transplant Games, and if I wasn't in Canada for the whole of July, I would actually be competing in something called the Transplant Games in Britain. So it's basically where anyone who's had a transplant, be it heart, lung, kidney, they take part against each other. But they're really good, because obviously a lot of people who've had transplants haven't been very well before, not worked full time, or people have had to take time off to care for them. So quite often they have quite a low income, so they have a fund to help get people to the games. So I've been doing a little bit of fundraising for Canada and for that. And then, as I've said to them, my volunteers / victims can be the first ones, so my teammates can be the first ones on the podcast. So I'm going to try and do something based around kind of our transplant team as a starting point, get them on, kind of, they're such inspirational people as well, and interview them about their life and kind of what's led them to taking part in the games. And then I've got a few other ideas for going forwards afterwards as well.
That's brilliant. You've got a lot of connections then, and that's really cool. I can't wait to hear it. Now, are there any challenges that you anticipate facing, and how do you plan to overcome them?
I think hopefully I've been quite prepared, but I guess one of them, having, as I've mentioned, kind of having health conditions, that was something I was like, right, that is the most important thing for me to sort out kind of before I go. So it's just been making sure I've got the right insurance in place and things. But I think because I've notified everyone about that, and I'll make sure, I'm sure nothing's going to happen. Hopefully I won't get eaten by a coyote. But obviously letting the emergency contacts know the insurance stuff and all that kind of boring but necessary stuff. So making sure I've got all that sorted. So making sure I've got double the medication, you pack some in your bag for on the plane, you pack some in your luggage. So yeah, and then I just think, I guess I haven't really thought about it, but being away for a month in a different country, there may be a little bit of me that gets homesick, possibly.
Have you been away for that long before?
No, longest I've been away in another country is probably under 2 weeks. But I think, to be honest, because everyone else will be in the same boat and we're going to be so busy doing lots of like new exciting things, I probably won't have time to get homesick.
Yeah, no, it will fly by. Now, are there any specific skills or knowledge that you want to gain from the experience?
So I would like to kind of know a bit more about, obviously, how to do a podcast, but a bit more about the structuring, the production side, different kind of software you can use to do it so that I can adapt it when I come back to the UK. But yeah, it'll also be good to meet, because Humber College kind of specialises in film and TV, so it'd be great just to hopefully meet some of the tutors and lecturers there, because that's another area we get to try out. Like, I'm doing a bit of TV acting in my final year, so it'd be really useful if they've got any tips and pointers for me as well.
Have plenty, definitely. Yeah. The connections there are amazing. Did you know that Suicide Squad was filmed on campus? Handmaid's Tale was. There's so many amazing series and TV programmes, films.
That is so cool.
It is. You need to go around the Lakeshore campus, because honestly, some of the buildings, you'll recognise them from different films and TV programmes.
Wow. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, brilliant. Well, there you go. Maybe might be some future jobs in Canada.
Oh, definitely. They love British people. Just you wait. You'll be famous as soon as you land with that accent. Now, how did you expect this programme will impact your theatre studies and your future career?
So I'm hoping if it fits kind of the criteria, I can do a podcast, or at least kind of use a bit of a podcast for one of the modules next year, because it'd be great to develop one of the ideas. And then I'm hoping, if I kind of am confident enough and I have a original or unique enough idea, that I can actually kind of carry that on. Hopefully people will enjoy listening to it. And then hopefully kind of grow it. Possibly it could become, a career option, or even if it's just something I enjoy doing. But I quite like the idea of having like audience participation or interactive things. So, for example, on the fundraiser, anyone who's donated has been welcome to give me a question to ask the guests.
Oh, brilliant.
So people have suggested things like, if you could have anyone to a dinner party, past or present, who would they be and why? So they're great, kind of like, it's really nice if people listening can kind of engage in that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. Get the listeners involved.
Definitely.
Now, how do you feel about living in a new city and culture for the summer?
I'm really excited, actually. I love like trying out different cultures and kind of embracing them and trying to, I guess, like fully immerse myself. I know it's only a month, so it's not going to be the same life as Canadians have, but it'll be nice just to see like some of the students and how their life differs and some of the Canadian ways of doing things. I know, again, from everyone who's said it and anyone who's Canadian that I've met, they're so such friendly people.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping like it'll be really enjoyable.
Yeah, from the minute I landed, I remember the exchange coordinator gave me a massive hug, and he was so lovely, and everyone was just so friendly. So you'll be absolutely fine fitting in as soon as you get there.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know, they were so
amazing.
Lovely. I instantly was like, right, okay, this is good. I feel welcome. Now, how do you plan to stay connected with your support system back home?
So they will probably get emails off me. So yeah, no, I mean, I'll obviously let like the International Opportunities team know I've arrived, and like our International Opportunities lead in the performance school as well, because she's like really keen, Bron's really keen to hear about it. But yeah, I'll also, again, I guess like nowadays, because we've got, obviously as I haven't mentioned, but I'm a mature student, so back in the day when I was at school, we didn't have video calls and things, but it's only a 5-hour time difference, so quite often I do video calls in the UK with my family, because as you probably guessed from my accent, they're not from Salford, like we're from down south. So I'll probably just carry on doing that, keep WhatsApping people, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Just see how everyone's doing. So yeah, I don't think it should be a massive problem, hopefully.
No, I think it's a 5-hour time difference.
Yeah.
I think they're 5 hours behind, because I'm still in touch with my Canadian friends, and it's difficult at the minute to like stay in contact all the time, but
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I do a little bit of remote work as well, so I'll just be making sure I'm not posting things at like 3 a.m. UK time. So, yeah.
But will you be keeping everything updated on social media and stuff as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think especially, again, because like a lot of people have been really supportive with me going to Canada, and obviously like some people have donated, so I'll definitely be like keeping them updated as long as they want to hear about it.
Brilliant. And if anyone does want to donate to Lucy as well, I'll pop that at the end of the podcast.
Oh, bless
as
you,
well.
thank you. Yeah, I think there's only about 5 days left on the crowdfunder, but almost halfway to the target, which is amazing.
Yay, that's amazing. And are there any particular projects or performances that you're excited to participate in?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, I would love to go into voice work and kind of voiceover and things in the future. So I think any kind of practice I can get in this field, like for example, before we started the podcast today, I was saying about doing a bit of voice work on another podcast and that I learn something every time I do that work. So I think, I just think you can never have too much experience. It sounds daft, but I don't know how you feel about the course, but people did say like acting and performance is a craft, and I was always a bit like, yeah, whatever. And now I'm actually doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, especially voice work and podcasting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of technicalities that you need to learn, definitely.
Oh, and there's such skilled people who do it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're really skilled. So.
Thanks.
What experiences have you had in radio and stuff so far?
So again, going back to the Transplant Games, which Uni of Salford are really supportive with as well, actually. I went to compete. Basically, if you do the British Games, you compete for your hospital where you had the transplant.
Yeah.
And then if you achieve certain times and distances, it's, sadly we're not on the same funding scale, but a little bit like the Paralympics and the Olympics. If you're good enough, you can get selected to represent your country. So I got selected for the very glamorous sport of race walking, but I've always been quite good at walking.
Yeah.
So I got selected because I had a good time, and then I got to go and compete in Australia just over a year ago that was with people from about over 45 different countries, so transplantees from all around the world. So as part of that, because the Transplant Games is partly run by a charity, although you get the place to go, there is limited funding available because obviously it's run by like volunteers. So like obviously if there's any money, it should be going towards the people who actually put the games on. Yeah. So I had to raise $5,000 in under 6 months, which is no mean feat when you're a full-time student. Yeah. So that involved contacting businesses and things, but it also involved doing a podcast with yourself. Yay! But I also did quite a lot of radio interviews with local radio and a little bit on local TV news stations like BBC Northwest and things. And they really kindly had me on because I crazily did a skydive to raise money, which I'm never doing again, but it raised the money needed.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been really useful experience.
I remember my family, they were like, oh, I've just seen Lucy, your friend, on the TV.
No way. Oh, bless them, that's so
You're
sweet.
a local celebrity around here. How do you hope to contribute to the summer school and the community in Toronto?
I'm hoping I'll try and just be like really friendly and welcoming. I think also I'm aware, obviously I think there will be students of all ages, but I'm likely to be one of the older students. So, and I appreciate like for some students, they might not really, obviously they might be at uni away from home, but they may never have been in another country for that long. So I think kind of like hopefully making friends and looking out for them. Also like the staff seem lovely. So I just want to kind of do well on the course and make the most of the opportunities there, so kind of say yes to everything so that I can just make the most out of my time there. Yeah,
definitely. And what are you hoping to learn from your peers and instructors in Toronto?
So I think again obviously learning the basic podcasting skills, but kind of like their hints and tips how to kind of maybe make it into something a bit more lucrative than me just like doing a podcast, maybe seeing if there's ways it could actually earn me money, because again being someone who's got health conditions, like I always look at kind of different ways of working, so whether it's like remote and things like that, as well as being there in person. So I think that would be really cool. And again, also, like I mentioned before, but like the film and TV side, like I guess it's a networking opportunity. Like if they like you and say they like my voice for something, or thought, oh, Lucy might be a good part for something we've got coming up, it would be great. Like if I got the opportunity to film in Canada in the future, that would just be, oh, that'd be insane.
You definitely will, because when I spoke to my voiceover teacher when I was in Canada, he said, we need people with British accents over here.
Wow.
There's a lot of work for people with British accents in Canada, so I am sure you will make those connections.
Do you know what? I know with the comedy writing course, they did a radio show at the end of this year at the Uni of Salford, and there was, they had a student there who, I'm not going to say whether it's Canadian or an American accent because I would probably say the wrong one and they'd probably be really offended. But basically, their voice was just a dream to listen to. Like, everyone was brilliant, but I just loved their voice. And you could, and they just stood out, like, just because their voice was so different as well.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I met people with the most amazing voices there when we did voiceover classes. I was like, wow, people are so talented here.
Yeah, I know, that's it. It's just like having watched people like in action, like live, I'm just like, wow. So I'd love to build up my skill set so I can get a bit more kind of competent in it.
Definitely. I forgot to ask you, what kind of activities will you be doing whilst you're out there?
Oh, so we've got all sorts. So we've got things like, we're going to do a visit to Niagara Falls, which I'm really excited about. We've also got a boat party organised.
A boat party, right? I'm on my way.
Yeah, I know. Please come. Yeah, they'd love to have you back. We've also got river rafting. I think we've got treetop adventures, Canada Wonderland, which is like rides. So
cool.
I mean, it is technically like a work or summer placement or course, but it's also like my holiday of the whole year. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be really fun, and that'll be a really good way to get to know people doing different courses, because some of them I won't see because they're not doing the podcasting course, so it'll be a nice way to kind of bond with people, I think.
Definitely, you will have a lot to bond over there.
Yeah, probably when they're comforting me because I'm too scared to get off or on a roller coaster or something.
You'll be conquering your fears when you're there. You'll come back a new woman.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other students that are considering a summer school programme?
I would say if you can, do it, definitely. And I think there's no time that's too early to get in touch with the International Opportunities team, because I got in touch, like Liam, it was, who let me know about this opportunity, so it meant I could kind of be like, oh right, I've got that coming up. You do get some funding towards it, and there was bits I've paid up front, so I think it just meant I could be like, right, I need to start putting some money aside, or like I've worked a few extra hours and things just so I've got a little bit of money behind me. But I think also you, again, have a look at all the options, all the places there are. Is there somewhere you've always wanted to go? Yeah. This is a great chance to do it, because again, hopefully you'll get that chance in the future, but quite often a lot of my friends who go abroad, it's for a holiday, which is lovely, but they're fully paying for that. And they always say, oh, a week and a half wasn't long enough. I'd have loved to have gone for longer, or just like live there for a bit. So yeah, definitely take the chance.
Exactly. And what kind of funding's available from the university?
So it depends on your circumstances. So there can be things under the Turing scheme if you meet certain criteria. So for example, if you're from a low income household, if you fall into kind of any different kind of disadvantaged or underrepresented student backgrounds. So I get a little bit of help. So I've had some money for the flights, which was amazing. Right. And then I'll have a little bit of money as well to cover some of my living costs while I'm there, which is just, it's really helpful, because I'm obviously my own household, so my income is my student loan and what I can earn, which obviously, as you know, we can't work too much during term time. No. So yeah. And
are there any resources or tips that you found particularly helpful in preparing for the school?
Oh, that's, so I went on our international opportunities bit. We've got like a SharePoint bit, and it's got different bits to click on. So if, say, you are worried about or trying to be organised about fees and finance, there's a bit on there you could click. So I've seen they said about like crowdfunding, which is partly why I set up a little funding page. Yeah. But it's also just got other bits. It's got links to like what to expect in the country, like weather conditions and things like that, air quality if you're into that kind of thing. So yeah, it's got like loads of links you can do. You know, they're a good, like, trusted website to do your research from as well. Yep,
definitely. There's a checklist, an itinerary on there, everything. It's brilliant. And how can other students best prepare for an opportunity like this?
I think speak to the International Opportunities team, just check that, you know, you fully understood everything, know what you've got to do to prepare. Obviously get in contact with your host organisation when you've decided where you're going. Apply for the programme as soon as you can. And then, if you go, just make the most out of the opportunity. Network, say yes to things, try, trips. Obviously don't exhaust yourself, but just, you are going to be there. Say you do a summer placement for 4 weeks. So it's kind of enough time to get to know the area you're in. I'm definitely going to go and explore Toronto, which is the nearest city. I'll see what other people are doing at the weekends, see what they want to do, and just, try and make the most of it.
Definitely. And how do you feel overall about the opportunity to go?
I'm really excited. It was one of the reasons I chose Salford was to do the international opportunities. So, so now it's actually the week and I'm actually going. It just feels a bit, I think until I'm in the plane, in the air, I don't think it's going to sink in. I'm just So this week will be mad busy with packing, and I'm flying, for some reason best known to myself, from Gatwick, so I've got to get myself down there. But I'm just really excited.
And what do you hope to bring back to your home institution at Salford from the experience?
I think kind of, hopefully, I guess for them, some contacts as well at the university, but also just an insight. I know it's only a really small insight, but into how, things work in Canada in regards to podcasting work and things. And hopefully, obviously I'll have a whole new skill set, which I can bring to the programme and put into one of my modules. And obviously, if any other students are interested, hopefully I'll be a good enough standard to kind of get them started or teach them or show them resources to head to if they're interested in podcasting.
Definitely. And how do you think this experience is going to shape your future in theatre and in media in general?
I think it'll make me a bit more confident. I think, again, because I was last in education in the early 2000s. So obviously I've worked a lot since then and used different bits of technology and things, but I think it'd make me more confident about kind of multimedia and production side, which again means you can make a more diverse kind of or different approach to theatre. So I could even feature, voiceovers or kind of bits of TV clips or things within a performance, not just the actors on stage, if it's appropriate, obviously.
Do you have any final thoughts or messages that you want to share with the listeners?
I think just a big thank you to Uni of Salford for giving me the opportunity, and massive thank you to anyone who's donated. And I think just take the opportunity if you can, and I'll tell you all about it when I get back.
Yes, and how can listeners follow your journey on social media? Or?
So I've got an Instagram, which is Lucy Ryan Acts Up. I can't remember where the underscores come in that, but I will give it to you for the website.
We will link it on the podcast.
And then I've also got my crowdfunding page, which is I think it's Podcasting Canada and Transplant Team. Bit of a mouthful, but if you put in Lucy Ryan Crowdfunder podcasting, it should come up.
We'll make sure to link it at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, amazing.
But I'm really excited for you. You really deserve this opportunity, and you're going to have the best time. I'm sure you'll make the most of it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I will see you very soon.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Lucy, for sharing your insights, and we can't wait to hear all about it when you're back. If you listeners want to find out more about study exchanges or work placements, then please visit the Student Hub International Opportunities page, where you can find out about our drop-in sessions, application process and partnerships. Please tune in next week to hear more from our amazing students, and remember to like, share and subscribe to the podcast so you can hear more. And we can also spread the word about our international opportunities. We'll see you next time.